Hey moguls, it's Dr. Tracy here, and I'm just tuning in with an upgrade that I am actually doing on myself at this point, and I'm just sharing it if you want to come along for the ride. The upgrade I'm on is clearing a pattern that I have had in my life, but also notice is a universal pattern of putting up with things, tolerating things, and settling for things and settling for certain standards. And as a 5-1 projector in my exponential human design system, I am someone that picks up the universal themes of the field and my system upgrades them. And when I upgrade them within my system, it upgrades the field. So I don't attach to these programs. I know they're part of the industrial operating system. And I know they're also part of the survival operating system of the 3D matrix simulation of reality. And many, many years and depths of transformation, I'm really operating from the 12D truth flow, transmitting the source code. And that is just the light getting shed on certain patterns, themes, and upgrading them. So the one is putting up with stuff and tolerating it. And seeing it for what it is. So we're not attaching to it. This is nobody's fault. There's no one to blame. It's not this person or that person. It's not blame myself for putting up with it or blame them for being. It's none of that. This is a universal theme. It's in the operating system that we all had it installed in us from the beginning, which is like you just put up with everything. You just tolerate it. You deal with it. You get through it. And that's how you survive. That's a survival system. That's different. And when you are building your empire and growing your multi-generational family dynasty, and or if you're new at this and you're becoming an entrepreneur, you're in a growth cycle and you're hitting up against certain things, it's important to understand that whatever is in the field of your own operating system, and depending on your human design, your operating system works a certain way. And in mine, it just collects the garbage code in the field and it upgrades it. So if we stay in the pattern of settling, in the pattern of tolerating, we're just in that operating system. We're just deep in the 3D matrix versus let's be in the 12D truth flow because that's going to upgrade everything. It's good for me, it's good for you, it's good for the field. So I see this tolerating and I see where it plays out in my business, because our business is just the extension of our reality field, our frequency field. And what I see is each time I like bring someone on to the team to do something for this mission of making sure that people make the transition from the industrial operating system to the exponential operating system to be absolutely highly capable of scaling your reality in the exponential era that is emerging right now. And when I bring someone on, and I am very thorough before I have someone come on for a role on our team, and I am an over explainer because I've had these experiences throughout my life where it's like I'm explaining, and then someone does something else. And if you understand, that's just in the field, and it's a pattern I've absorbed. And the only reason it runs still in my world is a couple things, because at some point I identified with it rather than seeing it just as a pattern. Like, why is it I say this thing and people do another? And then I'd look at myself and say, oh, well, I must be doing that. Let me upgrade it. That was identifying with it. So instead of identifying with it, I see it as a pattern. Oh, I'm a 5-1 projector. That's supposed to show up. It gets upgraded and it upgrades the field. So if I identify with it, it adds more friction to it and it makes more of it. If I see it for what it is and I shed the source light on it, like, whoa, let's look at this. That's not me. It's not you. It's not anyone we love and care about. It's the operating system that says, this is what it is to be here. This is what it is to be a human. This is what it is to be in the world. So put up with it. It's like literally deep in the operating system that got installed in all of us for generations and eons and all that. And it just says all this stuff like, this is just how it is. It's just this and this and that. And when you come into the field, when you launch into the sequence, you are basically taking your 12D source flow that you have as a little one, and it's getting all stepped down to what the field is, which is a 3D compression chamber saying, this is all there is. Getting you to be at a lower frequency, it's down regulating you, and it's getting you to go down to that level of the operating system that says, just deal with all of this shit, in all of it, in yourself, in your family, in your business, in whatever, in the world and how people are running it, la la la. It's like settle and deal, and it ends up showing up. And where it's showed up that I'm cleaning up in this upgrade is I really, as a projector, just see people's pure raw potential and their human design, and I know what they're capable of. And I give overly thorough directions because I'm trying to overcome times when somebody didn't understand something. But that's just adding friction to it. And then what happens is that people are doing whatever their best is, or they're doing whatever they're doing. And when it's not what we agreed to, because you just want to keep the flow flowing, and we're all so compressed with everything because we have 5,000 things to do just to do a simple service to the world and contribute. And then we just put up with it, and we keep trying to tolerate, and we keep upgrading and teaching and training. And that's all. You'd say, well, of course you have to train the people on your team. But I hire in a very specific way, which is I'm already making sure you're totally qualified and then some. And that's my standard. My standard isn't you're going to then come in and I have to then teach you how to be a mogul. You're already supposed to be one if I'm bringing you on for this mission. And when people say they can do certain things, that's the expectation I'm at. And as powerful as a person as I've been in my life, I have tolerated stuff until there's been a point where I'm just like, that's not happening anymore. But also, like, we're taught this good girl thing or good boy thing, like, you have to be so nice and you have to be so polite, and we have to, navigate around everyone's feelings. And I'm clearing this up, and some of you may recognize this for yourself, that I also was navigating in ways where I didn't want to hurt someone. I didn't want to upset them. I only wanted to be a transformational resource in this world and be conducting. And so I would just overextend and overextend and overexplain. And what I realize as this goes on, and I'm completely on a different page with it than I used to be, is every moment that I accept anything less than what the person said they were capable of doing, and they are allowed to produce something less, while I say, hey, you've got to do this, or otherwise we're going to have to wrap this up. Every time I do that, all I'm doing is reinforcing that pattern in myself and them. And this happens in empires and, amazing family office dynasties all over the world, because we're all taught to just put up with it so we have the person to do the thing, because we don't want to do the thing. And I've had scenarios where I've gone so far as be like, if there's no one doing this position and that's what it has to be, so I don't reinforce that pattern, I've done that as well. And then I say, okay, I regroup, I'm bringing someone on for XYZ. And I explain and I do all this and I give everything that I know is needed. And yet, there's this part that is still an upgrade that is, this is it today. This is happening. Because when we come into the world, we're just like, we love all these people, our family, our parents, all of this, but we're literally immediately taught to settle for whatever the field is that we come in, which we all know is a compression chamber, mostly of suffering and a small percentage of people doing well while having to crush themselves to do it. So we've been taught to downregulate ourselves to what other people can do because we want to have someone and we want to have this position filled. And we tell ourselves that story and then we reinforce it. We create the friction rather than this upgrade, which is a simple but powerful one. And this is the upgrade on myself today. And you're happy to come along for this upgrade. I always know within a day, a week at the most. If someone's in alignment with what we agree to, what the role is, what the capacity is. And I always can tell if I am then over explaining it when it's already should be something they know based on their resume, their profile, etc. So I know that. And in the past, I've been busy, 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 like we all are. And I ignore it because it's like, oh, I got to now start the hiring process over. And that ends today. So come along for this upgrade, my friends. And let's mogul up, because the real mogul level is, no matter how, much your operation is doing what it's doing, running what it's running, you're building an empire, you're operating at the high level mogul level, we've been taught to compromise. Some of our human design also teaches us to compromise, because when we're in a lower frequency, like I have the 14 code 3 times, on the top of it is power in the frequency, and the bottom of it is compromise. So I'm prone to that. A lot of you have the 14 code and that might be happening. So quite simply, we're replacing compromise with alchemize. And the alchemy is that the moment I see the misalignment, it's over, because I already got the feedback and the source flow that runs through us, which I call your source self, but really it's the source flow, because the self is a very small survivor self. So the source flow knows, it signals this is out of alignment. That signal I follow on almost everything else. But in these cases, when it comes to human beings, and I've done this is in romantic relationships, it's in all of it. You're dating someone, you see this exact thing, you're like, this is off. To say that I ignored that in my life is to say the understatement of my life. However, the pattern is a universal pattern. It's not about you, it's not about me. It's about understanding that and deciding that the moment you see something is off and you notice you're about to compromise, because it's been automated into you to do so, to accept whatever, to accept this is the way the government runs, to accept this is the way the family runs. It's it's absolutely, to say it's detrimental to us is to say we have to deinstall that part of the operating system. So the upgrade truly is this commitment, and I'm making it. So if you'd like to join in, great. If not, great. The commitment is, the moment I see the signals off, that person is out. I have given that up front to people, and then it's on me to actually enforce that and just say it'll be that simple for me, because you know how great that is. You're just saying, like, this is the standard. And I've looked at different variations of this upgrade many, many times. And it's part of my projector system that says, I see exactly how amazing you are and everything you really are when you actually rise up to a higher level. And so I've spent a lot of my life being like, I know you can do it. I know you can do it. It's very simple. I hold the standard of that level. And if you want to rise up to it, great. You can meet me there. But I'm not rising, I'm not lowering down and lowering my frequency, and I'm not down regulating my amazing 12D operating system of pure flow. So this one is an important upgrade. I hope you all take this upgrade in, install it into your system. We are replacing compromise with alchemize, and just that moment that we see something like that, it's not a bad thing happening for us. It's a pattern revealing itself, and we absolutely utilize that to make an amazing transformation. And if you haven't read any of my books at this point, I talk about this in my books, the method, the commitments, and the pattern shift. And I'll have links in my description here, and you can check those out. All right, moguls, way to mogul up, and I'll see you next time. Take care.